Hello everyone and welcome back to another Sims 3 speed build. So today I am building a gym slash pool center. So I called it Skylight Gym. I believe that's the name I called it. I called it that way because it is designed to give your Sims a fabulous view depending on where you were to locate it in your world. Because it's got a bunch of skylights in the back. So anyway, this lot size is a 24 by 24 size lot. It's what it sits on. It is flat, so you can put it anywhere you want, any world, it doesn't matter. And it's going to cost your sim approximately 167,000 simoleons to purchase it. They can purchase this lot. So anyway, like I said, it's a gym. So when they first walk in, they'll go into, like, I call it like the checkout area where they'll check out or check in or maybe create an account, set up so that way they are a member. So it's the lobby area, and then to their left will be where you see right now I'm creating an L-shaped staircase. To create the L-shaped staircase, you need to use the cheat constrain floor elevation and space true. Or no, false, sorry. You want it to be false, not true. And then once you do that, you'll be able to manipulate the terrain, the wall size, just like what you're seeing me here. For whatever reason, I don't know, either I just was having a brain cramp or what, but couldn't get the stairs to go in on the top section. And it was really really irritating me. But I do eventually get it figured out. I don't know why I struggled so much. I mean, I struggled bad for some reason. So anyway, there's the L-shaped stairs. That's where they're going to go. So the upper area, there's a balcony, an open balcony. It opens up to the lobby area. But the upper area will have the gym. That's where their Sims can go and exercise. So there's some exercise equipment and everything upstairs. Then they will also have like a glass wall or just a wall full of windows that looks down into the pool area, and then through that wall, the windows, they can see out the skylights. And the skylights is what I am creating here. We don't exactly have skylights in The Sims 3, so I'm going to create them myself by using constrained floor elevation. That cheat. So if you're not familiar with that cheat and working with the terrain like this or the wall height, floor heights and stuff like that, then you may not want to use it too much in this lot because it does use it, right here in the floor or in the ceiling. So basically what I am doing here is I'm taking the top floor, because you want the floor above, and I'm going to create a grade, a slant down, whatever slant you want, however steep you want it, however not so steep you want it, doesn't really matter. And you're going to keep on taking it down little bit by little bit, however you want, until you get to where you want it. And you got to do each section at a time. So you can't do one area and then go somewhere else and do it again. The manipulating the wall heights and floors and stuff like that just doesn't work like that. But anyway, then what I'm going to do, I do a few things, adjusting. I have to go back through and do a lot of it a second time, third time, because I would forget something like right here. I forgot to put in the wall on the side. That way it would slant with the floor. I wanted it to slant as well. So anyway, because I forgot that, I have to do it again. And I think there was something else that happened. Oh yes, I think I remember. I thought I had to put in the ground, or what are they? They're like landscaping things. These things right here. So I think I cut it out. I actually do it a couple of times because I thought I had to have them in first and then slant it, but you don't. You put them in after. So basically what I did after I slanted it, you had a quick view there. Once I slanted it, I then went through and I put in the landscape trim. So you go in and you pick the very smallest one. I made it white. You can make it whatever color you want, but I would suggest doing that first. And then I outlined however I wanted the windows to look. And since I wanted them to just be straight, kind of like these rectangle windows here, I wanted them to be rectangular. That's what I created. And then I went in when I was done and I just deleted the floor. So it's not actually a ceiling. It is just basically a floor with a bunch of holes. Now, I haven't used this lot when it was raining, so honestly, I have no idea, honestly, if it's going to rain in there. I don't really know how the game works, if the rain even comes in, because it's considered a room. It's got walls all the way around it. The only thing it don't have is technically a ceiling, so I'm not sure how the game views that, to be honest. So, but anyway, just going around finishing up, I decided I just wanted like some more narrow windows. And I had noticed that some of these big windows have a tint. Now, for a little bit, I do leave the tinted windows there, but then I got to thinking, I really don't like them. And I knew there had to have been another window somewhere. I was pretty sure anyway, that had something else where it wasn't tinted. So I do find them, I do replace them with the ones that don't have a tint, because I didn't want that. It just seemed odd to me. I just didn't really like it. But anyway, here's the upper area. So there will be a few couches kind of like in that walkway right there, just for your Sims. I guess they can take a break, rest, you know, enjoy the view. And I'm telling you, I looked at some of it. I probably should have taken a picture of it when it was at night, but it actually has a spectacular view in this building from either the pool area or when they're exercising, a spectacular night view of the stars and everything. It looks really neat. I don't think I didn't take a picture of it. I should have, but it looks really awesome, you guys. The views are definitely awesome. And that's what I had in mind. I wanted it to be where the Sims, you know, like I said, they can have nice views. They can see, you know, like in this case, in this world, it's a river that's out the back. But I'm sure if you put it in front of maybe a beach, the ocean, you know, or maybe one of them worlds that has waterfalls, and it had the waterfall, you know, on the back side, and your Sims can see the waterfall while they're working out, you could have some really fabulous views, I think, with this lot. So depending on where you place it. So it's not super big. Everything seems to work. I've already seen Sims go through and into the pool and using the pool. So in order to get to the pool, they have to go through what I call the changing rooms. They're not necessarily big enough for a Sim to technically change, and of course they don't actually change in them. They change when they get in front of the pool. But they do have men's and women's bathrooms, so they have to go through the bathroom to get into the pool area. So that's the only way in. There is no other way into the pool. I also went ahead and created in the lobby. I decided that I wanted to have the glass windows also in the lobby, so when guests come in, maybe they're brand new guests, never been there, they're not a member, they can see, you know, at least some of the facility without having to go in the pool. They can see the pool area from the lobby. They can check out what the equipment area looks like, you know, how that's set up, and be able to decide, do they want to be a member. So I thought nice glass windows for them to be able to see the pool area and, you know, stuff like that. So now basically what I'm doing here is, because I'm having to do a lot of terrain editing, or not really the terrain editing, but like changes in the some of the wall heights and stuff like that, you sometimes have lighting glitches to where it doesn't really light up very well. So I use, and of course the pool never lights up. The pool is always dark because it doesn't have a grid line above it, so you can't hang lights. So I'm using these from Buy Debug. To get that cheat, you have to open up your cheat window and you have to put Buy Debug, all one word, and then space on, and it'll open up a little window, and it'll have a box that has a question mark. You can kind of see it there in front. Above the couch picture, it has a little question mark box. That is Buy Debug, and you can go in there and you can find these lights under miscellaneous, I believe. And you don't see them in live mode. So while you're in live mode, you're not going to be able to see them. You'll see in the screenshots that you won't see those lights, but they will give off a light so you can see. Now I do tend to place other lights. As you can see, I have a light in the center of the those squares. That's so that way you do have something visually to look at, you know, that show, okay, that's where the light is coming from. So there are lights visually, you know, throughout the building. That way, you know, there are something that you can see that's giving off the lights. This area here, I thought what I wanted to do was have an area where the Sims can get like towels so they can wipe off their sweat and all that and wonderful stuff. And of course the basket, I'm pretty sure nothing's going to go in the basket, but basically its purpose is to represent the basket in a gym that you would put your nasty, disgusting towels after using them. So that's kind of what that is for. There's not a whole lot in the way of decoration in it. After all, it is kind of a business. It's got signs, you know, to warn, you know, any of the swimmers. That way they can see, you know, what they can and can't do. They have the rules there. And of course, where they're exercising, they have a little wall hanging that tells them about exercising and just different things like that. But for the most part, there isn't a whole lot of decorating. I've only been to a couple of gyms around here, and there really isn't a whole lot of anything. You have a few things on the wall, but that's about it. They have mirrors, so I placed a few mirrors for those Sims that just love looking at themselves. They can look at themselves while they're doing pull-ups or something like that, and you know, so there's a mirror right there for them to look at. So here are the bathrooms. They're pretty simple. They're not fancy, nothing special about them. I did have to put in some walls in between the toilets because the toilet paper apparently does not set right on those things. And this is kind of where I discovered it. When I was getting ready to do all that, I was going to put the toilet paper in. And I was like, well, there's a gap between the stall and the toilet paper. And I was like, well, I don't really like that. So there's walls that are placed, and the toilets still work, so don't worry, the toilets will still work. And this just makes it so the toilet paper holders actually look like they're attached to something and not just kind of floating in the, you know, floating in the air. So, and I realized I didn't realize until I was taking pictures that the towels hanging off the walls for your Sims to use to dry their hands, even though they don't technically use to dry their hands. I realized that the ones here that I placed in the women's, I didn't even notice that they're actually supposed to be old and dirty and disgusting until I was taking pictures. I was like, oh my gosh, I picked those. They have rust on the towels and the containers. I was like, oh, we can't really have that now, can we? So I did off camera replace the ones in the women's restroom into ones that are cleaner and nicer. They don't have rust all over them because you can't change them. You can't change the way they look. They pretty much are what they are. You can't really, because that's what I was going to do. I thought, well, maybe I'll just recolor them. No, you can't recolor them. So I ended up replacing them. So you'll see in the screenshots, if I even have it in a screenshot, I may not have them visible, but they are changed. So when you download them, they will have a cleaner towel holder. So you won't have to worry about that. So here's just a few of the signs, just, you know, letting the swimmers know, hey, you know, this is what you need to do. Be careful. I do put a diving board in. I think I did that off camera as well because I completely forgot about the diving board. So the diving board does get put in off camera. Now, I hated putting the diving board in because I couldn't actually center it. I wish you could, like, take it off the grid and put it literally where you want it, but you just can't with that diving board. So it's a little off center. So those of you that have, like, OCD like me, I'm sorry, but that diving board is not center, and it does kind of irritate me a little bit, but there's not a whole lot that I can do about it. So here I'm going to go ahead and do the parking lot. That way when Sims visit, there'll be a few cars. If they have cars anyway, they can park there, and you'll have cars and stuff. I just think that makes it look a bit more realistic having the cars, even though they don't technically get in or out of them. But just some simple landscaping. It's not a lot. Basically, the landscaping is very manicured type. I figured since the building was kind of like a modern style, that maybe the landscaping should be clean and well taken care of and low maintenance. So that's basically the type of landscaping I used. I used the same plants throughout, the same bushes. I used the daisies, and then it was some kind of ground cover that I used to go underneath it. So that's what I ended up using around the area. So there's some outside lights, of course lights in the flowers and stuff there to help light it up a little bit. And I used some more of those invisible lights from Bug because that's the one thing about Sims 3 that I would have to say is not my favorite, and that is the lighting. It does not go from one floor to the next, so when the lights get turned off, you can see all the whatever you did. If you change the wall height, you're gonna see it. So I was able to put in a few more of the lights on the outside just to try to help bring up the glow of the exterior lights from below. That way it doesn't look quite so weird. So what I'm using here, I couldn't use an actual rail or fence railing thing or whatever because it was acting funny by the skylights. Honestly, I don't even know what I used, but I used something that I had to do individual, so that's a little time consuming. And then of course I was looking all over the place. I had to actually look for the items off camera because I could not find the air conditioning unit. I'm like, where the heck is it? I know it's here somewhere, but I never use it, so I can't ever remember where it's at. But I did eventually find it. I found the air conditioning unit. I decided to go ahead and put the electrical box outside. You do have a dumpster, so your Sims can, you know, do some dumpster diving. I thought, why not? Why don't we go ahead and use some of the oh my gosh, the gutter drains. I couldn't think of what they were called, the gutters. So we have some gutters. They're placed in areas to where it kind of looks like where they're watering the plants. So that's kind of what I did. I thought that would look nice. And then of course, nobody wants to see the dumpster and all that garbage when you're in the pool relaxing and looking at the view. So there is the fence right there just to help block that. That way they can't see it from inside, just to make it a little bit nicer. And here's just a little bit of decorating. It's supposed to look like I said, where they can check in or set up a membership. So there's a few extra towels, of course a plant, there's a phone, that way when anybody's calling, you know, to see if they're open or to see how much it costs, there's a phone for them to use. And I don't really know the purpose of the books, but I thought, why not? We'll just put some down, fill up that space a little bit. Just a couple of chairs for waiting guests that are maybe waiting to pick somebody up, or maybe they're waiting to talk to somebody or sign up for membership. I don't know. They're just waiting. That's all they're doing. So I went ahead and decided to go ahead and put some more of these flowers in the front. Like I said, it's the same flowers. I didn't do anything different. Very simple, very clean, well taken care of, easy to maintain as well. So they don't really have to water them since all the water from the gutters pretty much go into there. So, you know, very, very low maintenance. Just going through and making the exterior part of the pool there black because it kind of irritates me to go under if you accidentally go into the basement level and you can see the blue pool wall or whatever. I just don't like seeing the wall regardless of what color it is. So I was trying to make it where there wasn't a tint on that railing because it was the only railing that matched the railing that went around the balcony area, but it's always going to be tinted, so there wasn't a whole lot I could do about it. So here is the building from at night. Like I said, you can see some of the views in the picture, so make sure you stick around to see in the screenshot so you can see some of the views that the Sims will have while they're working out or swimming. This lot will be available for download in the link in the description. So if you have any comments or suggestions, go ahead and leave them below. And I will see you next time. Have a wonderful day. Bye.